Hello and welcome to the Psychic Tarot Show, coming to you live on the Beyond Mystic YouTube, Rumble, and X channels every Saturday. You're joining me, ASHALA Yardley, and this incredible community as we tune in together to get a read on this week's energy. Well, yesterday was Halloween Eve, and pretty potent time as always this time of year, and this year supercharged, wasn't it? How is everyone doing? Nice to see you. Hi, Monica, Dottie, and Gloria, and Lupo. Hi from the UK. Kaloma, Leo. Lovely to see you. Welcome, everybody. Just see you slowly trickling in here. And let's constellate our energy together and really feel into what's going to be the most important information for us going forward in this week. Hi, Early Morn and Lynn from Texas, Vancouver. Hi, everybody. So before we get started, I'll remind you that you can find me here on the Beyond Mystic consultations page where you can book a 1-hour reading with me. I have sessions available next week. So if you'd like to check that out, you can find me here and you can use the coupon code below to receive a 10% discount on those readings. Hi, Angela. So let's jump in to our overview, have a look at the week ahead. And for those of you that are new here, I lay out the cards in this big Zodiac wheel. And what it does is it looks at each individual house of the Zodiac, and those houses relate to the different aspects of our lives. So this is how I do my overview readings when I do psychic intuitive tarot readings with people. I start off with this big spread, and I don't know anything about the individual, but the cards show up in these different houses to indicate how those different aspects of their life are working together, what's highlighted, where some challenges might be, how the whole dynamic of our lives is coalescing. And that's why this spread is so helpful, and it's really great to do on a, weekly, some people even do it on a daily basis, but I think a weekly basis is just perfect because it gives us a sense of what this week looks like from a big picture overview. Hello, Denver, England. So I'm going to start by shuffling the cards, and while I'm doing this, this is a really great time for you to tune in with your life right now, because even though this overview is for generally for all of us, each of us has a piece of what's going on for the whole. We're like all of us little individual sparks of spirit. So really contemplate while I'm shuffling, what is happening for you this week? What are you hoping for? What are you fearing or concerned about? What are you ready to embrace, move toward? What are you ready to let go of? Focus on your heart. Really feel that you're balanced between the energies of Earth, the lower dimensional energies, and the energy of cosmos, the higher dimensional energy. We are here as humans in the mid zone, the bandwidth of the heart chakra, which in its natural state, in accordance with natural law, is aligned with the greater good of all, and it's power neutral. It's the frequency of love, which is the most potent. It's where creation comes from. So staying in that frequency, breathing from that place. Let's have a look at what we are together meant to see as possibilities and suggestions for this upcoming week, kind of like a forecast, like a weather forecast. Well, it is called the forecast. So I'm going to make the cards bigger now. Whoop, like that. There we go. Hello, Tug of Light, Asheville, North Carolina, Cape Town. Hi, Margot. We are showing up, all of us together, coming in with this character. We've seen this card. It's been in this house recently. I feel like maybe a couple of weeks ago. Might have even been last week. We had the Seven of Swords in Aries. So how that is significant is that the Seven of Swords is about strategy. And it's about, I'm hearing self-management, how we manage our time, how we manage our thoughts. The swords are thoughts, communication, ideas. They can also represent time. And so the House of Aries is the self. When we see this card, we don't want to focus on changing and controlling everybody else. We want to work internally on self-mastery, time management, things like that. So there's our Seven of Swords starting us off. And then another sword character in Taurus. Now, this guy is a bit of a troublemaker, not going to lie. We'll see what's around him, but so far we've got two swords kind of going at each other a little bit. So this character, Knight of Swords, usually is out to prove something. He often wants to prove that he's right because he's in the realm of swords and he's on a quest. I call him the great debater. He's a bit of a know-it-all. And Taurus is the house that relates to our security, our money, how safe we feel. This guy is one of the more angry characters in the tarot. So we could be feeling like we are on alert, and beware of blaming your lack of security or your feelings of insecurity on the people around you. If there's a concern about your finances this week, if you're finding yourself feeling unsafe, it's time to, I want to say, you know, this character is looking at this guy and he's saying, come on now, let's work with controlling how we think about things, reorienting our state of mind, because where the mind goes, the energy follows. And energy, money is energy. So if we're tanking it with our attitude, and if we're just on a bit of a mission, you know, kind of peeved off at the world, which of course frustration and discouragement and anger and bitterness are part of life. It's not about trying to hide that, but you might want to work with that and not take it into any sort of decision making around money, material things, any sort of planning or budgeting. We'll see how this is affected by the cards around it. Let's keep going. Gemini, another sword. Oi, oi, oi. Another sword. 3 sword cards in a row. A lot of thinking, a lot of it's like our mind wants to analyze, dissect, be decisive, figure stuff out. But this is Gemini. It's not the high mind. Aquarius is the high mind. But Gemini is the really, I want to say, agile mind. And this guy is a lot more serious minded. So apparently we're talking about mind and thought, planning, thinking, the way we think this week could either take us down a bad road or it could elevate us and liberate us to a higher timeline. It could liberate us out of old patterns and beliefs. So we've got a lot to do with our working with our mind this week. You know, this character is the most advanced of all the sword cards, and he's in the house of, which are the thought cards, and he's in the house of thought. So it could be a fantastic week to work with mind repatterning, reprogramming your mental patterns. This could be a fabulous week for that. So get out those affirmation tapes, get out those motivational change your inner dialogue. Work with, you know, things like mantras, affirmations, and so on. Notice where your mind goes and how it disrupts the rest of your life, because it goes on these big story building tangents that actually are fueling your anger. I have to say, I might have done that a couple of times this last week. Oh, oopsie. Sorry, everybody around me. Yeah, it's like our minds are pretty expanded right now, which is fantastic, but they're also kind of righteous and feeling a bit like running roughshod over the rest of our lives. Let's see what's around this next card in Cancer, in the house of home, family. Home and family. So interesting. I heard the word protection when I laid this card down. I heard protection. We've got another 7, and they're both in the cardinal points. So Aries and Cancer, not the cardinal points, but the directional points. So we've got Aries, the first house, a 7 of Swords, and then we've got down here in Cancer, 7 of Pentacles. The 7s are the spiritual numbers, self-mastery numbers. We've got the master of mind and intellect in the house of intellect. This guy in Taurus, that's about our security and our money, who's kind of peeved off and is building a case. So this card is saying, whoa, 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 slow down, get grounded. It's in the house of home. It's in our root chakra, our base. And it's saying, don't make any rash decisions this week. Don't make any big purchases. We're going into, yes, I believe it is within the week. By the end of the week, we're going into a Mercury retrograde. So we're already in the shadow of the Mercury retrograde. And, you know, extreme decisions. Sometimes when we get feeling like cornered with our financial reality or our security, we can want to kind of make a really big move. And I'm getting that we're supposed to hold off, probably at least for the rest of this week, for this next whole week, for 7 days, 7 of Pentacles, 7 days, perhaps even longer. So it's not a time to cash in everything. It's a time to pause and hold what you have and hold it dear. Patience. It's the patience card in the house of home. So no big decisions, especially about your home and your money. Oh, good. Another pentacle. Swords are the most rapid moving. They're the thoughts, the ideas, communication. They move really fast, and because they move so fast, they can get us into trouble. Like the double-edged sword. What we think, what we say can really come back and bite us. Pentacles are the opposite. Pentacles are the material realm, and the material realm doesn't really do much quickly. It's very dense and it takes a long time to slowly build up momentum in the material realm. So if you've got a lot of sword energy, it's nice to have it balanced with a lot of pentacle energy to keep us grounded, to slow us down a bit. We can say, oh, 3D is so dense and heavy, but we do need to stay grounded. And there could be, with these 3 swords at the beginning here, we might be coming into this week a little ungrounded. And these 2 cards, 7 of Pentacles in Home, Page of Pentacles in Leo. Leo is our courage. It is our, I want to say, our extravagance. It's a little bit kind of like the part of us that likes to show off, to be seen, you know, whatever little amount of extrovert. Some people are extreme extroverts, other just have a little teeny extrovert inside of them. Let your little teeny extrovert come out this week and give it a little prize. Like, to me, this is doing something nice to enhance your physicality, your beauty. So a little, you know, new accessory, some kind of personal mini makeover, some way that you're looking after your appearance, your image, something nice for yourself in that area, in the material realm, because it's almost like it's a grounding practice for you. Yeah. Aw, hi Sherry. Nice to see you. Kenny, Daytona Beach, Tug of Light. Yeah. Gemma, Frank, Jimmy, Zen McKay. Yeah, Robin and Christopher. Wow. Lovely to see you all. Ooh, we just hit 222. That's pretty cool. So, dun, 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 now we are in Virgo. And in Virgo is the house of your habits, your lifestyle, your daily routines, the little details of your life, all those little annoying kind of practical things that we often will kind of skip over. 4 of Swords is a health card and it's in the health house. Virgo's the health house. So health compromises. I really like that we've got this Page of Pentacles beside it, because it feels like, you know, a stitch in time saves 9. It feels like a little bit of preventative medicine this week is going to help us stave off some, I'm not predicting like illness or disease for people, but there's an increasing amount of kind of sticky energy energetically in the collective. And we are all susceptible to that. And especially at this time of year, I feel like it gets very, very sticky. So, you know, I always am a promoter. For those of you that have listened to me for years, I'm a promoter of cleansing on a regular basis, of, you know, cleaning our homes and feng shui and clearing our energy and constant renewal. But it's interesting that the cleansing card, or the positive habits, lifestyle habits card, didn't come up in health. It came up in, I want to say, you know, your confidence house. Came up with your confidence. So interesting as well that we got all these swords over here, a lot of thinking. The mind is so busy and so dominant. We got to take some time to go into no thinking. I feel like this is a meditation, a request for meditation practice. And yeah, they're saying, you know, the amount that you think you want to do, try doubling that. Like, do twice as much as you think you need, because we need more of it than most of us realize. And there's something about this color. I feel like this color purple, this color violet, color therapy. I don't know why I'm being drawn to that color. I look at it all the time and it doesn't draw me, but today it's really saying meditating with the energy of purple and violet, with the violet, which is the crown chakra. So really working with that, you know, the crown chakra to me is where our immune system exists. It exists. If you were to take the chakra system like a rainbow and have, you know, the root is red and the second chakra orange and then yellow and green, pinky green, pink and green, and then uh, blue and indigo, and finally this violet purple at the top. Well, that is our protection buffer. It's like our psychic immune system, which is very connected to our physical immune system. They're, in fact, one and the same. If one is weak, the other is weak. And if one is getting strengthened, the other automatically strengthens. So they are a bit like a mirror image of each other, above, below, your psychic immune system and your physical immune system. That's why I say to people, if you're not feeling well, if your immune system is low, don't put out a lot of psychic energy. Don't go, I don't do readings when I'm not feeling well. I will cancel them. Absolutely. It's the one time, if I'm tired, that's fine. You know, if I'm scattered, too many hours in the fire, that's fine. But if I'm sick, I will not do readings because our psychic immune system follows our physical immune system. So we are, I want to say, preemptively strengthening both of those this week. Strengthen your immune system, your psychic immune system. How do you do that? Meditate. Breathe. Breathe in and out of that crown chakra. Breathe the purple energy because it is your psychic protection field. It's your psychic immune system is purple, the violet ray. Breathe that. Oh, 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 oh. Goodness gracious. What does this mean? My. We've got the Tower in Libra. We've got the Tower in Libra. Okay, I see this as being a couple of things, and I'm going to keep going because it's going to make more sense when I finish the wheel. But my first take on this is we are seeing contracts. Well, we're certainly seeing this with land property deeds, contracts, every kind of contract, financial contracts, all different types of legal contracts, deeds, everything. I see so many things getting ripped this week, like things just getting ripped open. Like we're seeing these contracts falling apart, these legal, supposedly legal binding systems are coming apart at the seams. The whole legal system is being shown for the kind of facade fakery game that it really is. Wow. So we're going to see lots of things tumbling this week in terms of the structures around binding contracts. Wow. And this is everything from mortgages, property deeds, legally binding contracts. Holy cow. Yeah. So how do we navigate with that? That's in Libra. And we are actually seeing that in the news here in Canada right now. There's all these people in different regions of Western Canada that are being told, you actually don't own your property anymore. It's technically, that property was never, there were these treaties with the Indigenous people. The property was never given or purchased. It's illegal that wherever you bought it from, that system, that entity isn't legal. So you don't own it. You own nothing, and people are hitting the roof. Wow. Yeah, it's just a sign of what's coming. And we know here in the truther movement, we got to see this coming out into the public sphere. We got to get everybody in the hot seat just kind of going, what the you know what is going on? Because let's get this stuff out in the open. What what is sovereignty? What is a natural human? What is real contractual law? What have we agreed to? What is a bunch of BS that never existed in the first place? So that is also scary if you've got all your eggs in these baskets, and that's this, right? This guy is getting really hot under the collar. He's looking for someone to blame. Can we see that obviously we're not going to see a situation where everybody is kicked out of their homes and living on the street, in 99% of all the Western homes in the Americas and Europe. It's not going to happen like that. But what is going to happen is people are going to look behind the veil, right? We're pulling the curtain across and showing the wizard and the Wizard of Oz. We're exposing this facade. And so, yeah, it's going to look like a lot of people going, what the is going on. And that's probably a good thing, because Scorpio has a positive renewal for us after that seeming crises. We actually realize this is what we know to be true, is that's all a movie. And Scorpio is endings and new beginnings. I'll tell you, this is what I want to see in that house. Renewal, 10 of Cups, happily ever after, over the rainbow. Interesting. Hi, Gemma, Frank. Oh, yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now we're in Sag. Yahoo! That's the gal we want to see in Sagittarius, Queen of Wands. So Sagittarius is a fire house. It is about spontaneity, creativity, adventure, exploration, expansion. It's ruled by Jupiter, the planet of luck and sudden luck and change and expansion. And we've got probably the most spontaneous card out of 78 in that house. So that's super well aspected. There she is, kind of letting her wild side show. So this is also, you could see this as being, you know what, it might be time to recreate your image a little bit. And I'm talking about your actual image, and men too. Like, maybe go get a new haircut, go do something totally different. This is a good week to say, I'm reinventing myself this week, because we're not the people we were last week. And it's really important to sort of have something on the outside to show that you've changed. So do something different with your wardrobe, your hair, some way that you express yourself. It doesn't have to be a huge makeover, but definitely something where people are going to go, wow, you look different. And you're going to say, I am different. That's interesting. My daughter Crystal's going to say, great, Mom, you just told everybody to come and get a makeover and their hair their hair done in a new way. I'm going to be so busy this week. Because Crystal, among other things, she works and has been an incredible hairdresser with her own salon for over a decade and super successful businesswoman and such an artist. Such an artist. Yeah, I have, there's people that come to have their hair done by her. Her former clients will travel all across the country to come and get their hair cut and colored by her because they can't find anyone else that does it that way. So anyway, this is also the time for all of us to be in good with our inner artist. Now we had the artist, I think last week or the week before, back again in the house of Sag. So this is the artist in the world. So this is really a let your colors fly, let your flag fly. This is really about, yeah, coloring outside the lines, dancing to the beat of your own drummer. I love that this Queen of Wands is so in her element. It's one of the best places that she could either be there or in Leo and be so happy. So she's in one of the happiest places she could possibly be. And our King of Swords is in his favorite place too. I mean, he might be a little bit happier up in Aquarius because it's higher minded, but I think he likes being in Gemini because Gemini is pretty thorough. Gemini is like the data processing machine, the supercomputer. Yeah, it's like Chat GPT on steroids or something, right? So he's happy there, and he's holding this high-minded, masterful mindedness. So really working on not letting your mind take you down a slanted path this week. And then he's holding space for her in her house because they're across from each other, right? The oppositions in the astrology, they affect each other. If they are harmonized, it's great. It's like magic. But if they're against each other, it can be very challenging. I would say because these are both in their best places that they like to be, they're going to harmonize well. So in order to deal with some of this, this Taurus and Aries energy, almost a little bit like a childish part of us that could get going and build up a big storm, like a big tornado. We saw this big storm, huge storm, cleansing storm. We talked about it in the Down the Rabbit Hole. Well, it feels like there's storms in our minds and they could really get away from us this week. So rein that in and then keep connected with your inner artist. Keep the artist energy happening. Yeah. Okay. Gonna keep going. And oh, so sweet, sweet, sweet. Let me see if I can move this just a little bit this way. Move my whole, there we go. That's better. So 6 of Cups up in the top house here. Capricorn, 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups is the child, past life. It is nostalgia. This is really a very gentle, sweet card. And Capricorn is the part of us that is the most serious. It's like, I gotta be responsible. I'm kind of the leader of everybody, right? Capricorn is the top dog here. Like they carry the burden of time and karma. No big deal. And so they can be really like taskmasters in their own lives and to other people. This is a real liberation for the part of us that is super serious and that just is totally restrained by rules and rigidity. So that is interesting. We've got this, whether this is literal contracts and legal documents that are being blown away this week, and also oaths and agreements that we've made, binding contracts that we've made throughout lifetimes, also being blown away. You're going to feel, if you let yourself, lighter this week. So keep meditating on that violet color and not letting your mind drag you down a dark alley, which they have a tendency to do sometimes, don't they? They're so powerful, our minds, but boy, they can be troublemakers, real troublemakers. Okay. Oh, look at that. Aquarius has another sword. So Aquarius is an air sign. And it has another sword card in it. It's so interesting that the child mind has the mastermind in it, and the higher mind house has the child mind in it. So we've got this kind of beautiful balance between our incredible visionary mastermind, high intelligence, high mindedness, and our child mind. I do feel that we could do some extraordinary work with repatterning our brains this week. It's got me thinking. Anybody in the chats know any systems that they've had success with in working on repatterning brain waves, thought patterns? Yeah, let me know in the chats. I'll share it with everybody because it's a great thing to learn how to repattern. Humming. Aha. Thank you, Tug of Light. Humming is a way to reattune the mind, the frequency of the mind. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, and in our final house of Pisces, the final house is the subconscious mind. It's the final frontier. We've got all this outer stuff, dynamicism, and then we go back into the deep subconscious. It's like the final step before we transition out of this life and go into the next life contract or beyond. And it's where we have the possibility to really, expand into the greatest potential, the highest hopes and dreams. So it's called hopes and fears and self-undoing. That is all in Pisces. We've got the highest hopes, the biggest dreams, but we've also got our deepest fears and our self-undoing in that house. So we've got the spiritual warrior there this week. Spiritual warrior. And we got two warriors over in this side. Do you see them? We got the two knights are there. One above the other. Yeah. The spiritual warrior across from this rest and retreat and meditate on that purple violet ray, psychic protection. Expand your psychic aura. We've got this card, looks a lot like the aura as well. So aura work. And I love the spiritual warrior being there. It feels like as long as we can control our mind from steering us off track with all its storytelling, it just gets going like on a little hamster wheel. Mine sure does. Sometimes it gets going, going, going. And I'm like, oh, no, stop. Stop. So I like that this Knight of Wands is over that Knight of Swords that can be a bit like that angry, trying to prove something. Mind on a hamster wheel card. He's being reined in with this knight above him. We're almost coming to the finish line here, folks. I'm going to bring back up the cards for a moment because I want to bring your attention to a couple of other cards in the lineup. One is the Polyvagal Workshop, which is about managing stress. Hey, now there's something. Aline's course could be really great for helping us repattern the nervous system. And this 50% off is good for another day till tomorrow. So check that out. And we also have this other incredible product that I just am finding out about now. C60 Power High Performer Starter Kit. And you're going to find the details about this in the link in the description box below. It looks like there's a really big savings on right now, almost half price. And you get these 3 products. So check that out. And of course, as always, you can find me here on the Beyond Mystic Consultations page where you can book a 1-hour session with me. And let's finish up. The last card goes into the middle. Da, 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 drum roll. Magician. Another mind card. Another thoughts, communications. I'm going to go over and see if anyone else has put anything in the chats about ways to work with our thought repatterning. Okay, someone is saying tapping. Tapping is another technique that you can use to do repatterning of the mind. So humming, tapping. I often think about breath work. Let's see here. Always put the hurts when taking a shower, so relaxing while water is running over the head. Interesting. 0.1 hertz. Chakra chanting. So these are all different techniques that people have had experience with in our community for reprogramming, repatterning when this mind of ours gets kind of overwhelmed and running on this system because we use it so much. We use it so much. Now, it's very curious that our Magician is the last card because he is, among other things, I mean, he does represent the mind and thoughts and communication, but he's a major arcana card, so he's kind of beyond the small mind. I'm also being drawn to remembering how he has all the different elements of the major arcana. Do you see them all there? He's got the cup, the sword, the pentacle, and the wand. So he reminds us to stay balanced in mind, energy, heart, and physicality. So mind, spirit, emotions, and body. So something about working with our senses this week, bringing them into balance and balancing out that extreme use of mind. I think that we don't realize how much we've overused our minds, especially with the way that the internet has been used in these last, 10, 12, 14 years. It's all about information and visuals for the most part. The majority of what we're doing on the internet is taking in information, knowledge, mind stuff, and visuals. And there's some auditory. I mean, obviously, we're listening to people speaking, but are we listening to them singing? Are we listening to sound frequency? Are we working with other aspects of our senses on the internet, or is it mostly vision and mind? And I think that this magician is reminding us to balance out sound and all of our senses. Well, it's been delightful to be here with you, everybody, as always. Suzanne is saying 0.1 is the brain-heart coherence frequency. And I'm assuming, Suzanne, that you can find these frequency sound waves on the internet. So there's a great way to use the internet to stimulate your other senses visually, but maybe not in the maybe not so much in the sense of taking in written words or information, but maybe seeing color, hearing sound, and other ways that you can receive the blessings of sensory experience through the internet. Yay. Alrighty, everybody. Well, we are completing this week. Let's see, I believe that we have in the middle of the week, we've got a full moon in Taurus. That's funny that the full moon is in Taurus, and we got the house of Taurus is probably the most compromised other than Libra. Libra and Taurus house is a little compromised this week. And Taurus is about our security, our money, bank accounts, pleasure, that feeling of safety, that feeling of enjoying the material things in life. And right as the full moon is in Taurus, we are feeling the foundations literally shaking under us and things being taken from us left, right, and center. So I wonder if this is about us almost like using our minds this week to jump up into a whole new way of perceiving, contemplating, tuning in with what it like, instead of just looking always at what's going down, what's disappearing, let's look at what are we replacing this with. Feel into what it's going to feel like for all of those systems that we know are so broken to be gone, and that we're not all walking around destitute. There's so much richness and wealth and abundance of knowledge and resources and ingenuity in humanity and in our beautiful planet at this time. We're not going to be stuck with depletion and lack. There's no excuse for it anymore. None. And when we keep focusing on what's being taken, we're taking our attention away from what's available for us to reach out and receive. So jump in. Have a beautiful week, everybody. It's been lovely to share time and energy and space with you as always. And we will see you here, same time next week. Bye for now.